I rise with great enthusiasm this morning to support an amendment that would designate $40 million from the Assistance for Europe and Eurasia Fund to the Armenia Democracy Assistance. This amendment is co-sponsored by the other Democratic chairs of the Caucus on Armenian issues here in Congress. You know, in the last year, Armenia has undergone a breathtaking transformation from a stagnant autocracy to a very vibrant democracy. The images of Armenia's Velvet Revolution bring a smile to my face every time I think of it. Having people dancing in the streets, having a blockade, but a blockade of small toys by children in the town square. The amazing part of all of this is that this democracy occurred with not one drop of blood being shed. So it is very important at this point in time that we do everything in our power to support this new democracy. Since the revolution, Armenia has held fair and free democratic elections that swept Nikol Pashinyan to power. Recently, his government signed an agreement with the United States providing up to $16 million over 2 to 3 years to promote economic growth and good governance in Armenia. Although these efforts are welcome, they are not enough. Armenia has a rare and potentially fleeting window of opportunity to consolidate and build upon its democratic gains. Fundamental changes to its constitution, electoral code, and governance institutions cannot be achieved by repackaging existing and under a new leader. Armenia has earned a clear signal that the United States supports its democratic transformation, and resources will be brought to them to carry out that transformation. This amendment would provide $40 million in 1 year to supercharge Armenia's democratic progress. Armenia would continue to lead the process, but the U.S. expertise and assistance would serve as a true catalyst. So this particular fund is filled with over $700 million. And we are already giving $250 million to Ukraine, over $50 million to Moldova, and $83 million to Georgia. So a $40 million commitment to a country that has on its own delivered democracy is a small gift. And I urge that we support that, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman from California reserves. The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to claim time in opposition, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman is recognized. The gentleman reserves, I'm sorry. The gentlewoman from California is recognized.
Will the gentlewoman yield?
I would be delighted to.
While this amendment does not have a budgetary effect, I would like to thank my friend for raising such an important issue. The progress made in Armenia's transition to democracy and the Velvet Revolution is a refreshing development at a time when so many other countries are headed in the opposite direction. This account funds critical programs to counter Russian aggression and influence in Europe and Eurasia, and support to key partners like Ukraine and Georgia. I'm prepared to work to provide the necessary resources to encourage continued progress in Armenia, and I'm willing to accept the amendment, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentlelady and leader of our Appropriations Committee for her support, and I'm grateful beyond words. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman from California yields back. The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, the funding directed in this amendment is a significant increase above current levels. It could result in funds being cut from important partners in Europe facing Russian aggression. For this reason, I urge my colleagues to oppose this amendment, and I yield back.
The gentleman from Kentucky yields back. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from California. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.